Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Azapi here, back again with Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1. We're on episode 6. In the last episode, Yuji died. Died. Because we know that he's not really dead, right? I mean, he can't be. He's the main character, for Christ's sake. When's that ever stopped anyone before? But no, I think we generally know, because the one dude who is heading up some kind of behind the scenes evil scheme with the curses or whatever, knows about this whole thing somehow. He has some, I don't know, whatever it is, connection or whatnot. I mean, he was the one that used one of Sukuna's fingers to create the curse womb in the last few episodes. So it's like, you know, whoever this guy is clearly knows quite a lot. We don't know who the hell his name is, like what his name is, but clearly he's not on our side, and whatever he's trying to do is probably something along the lines of harness Sukuna's power for himself, I'd imagine. But yeah, I mean, we ended off the episode where Sukuna was seemingly talking to Yuji, but we didn't actually see Yuji. So, I mean, Yuji's in there somewhere. In the subconscious sort of level, he's in there, right? And I think it's just going to be a case of Sukuna's going to, you know, voluntarily heal Yuji back, I guess. You know, I don't know if it's going to be a case of he's going to, you know, if they're going to create a pact together, because that's something that Sukuna talked about last episode. He like a throw off comment saying, you know, if there was a pact or whatnot, but there wasn't. So I don't know. We'll see, even if it's this episode or not, because there's something else seemingly happening with the other two first years. So we got introduced to the second years. That includes Panda as well, who's literally just known as Panda. I assume he must just be a curse that is just on our side, because I don't see like how. I mean, there's been no talk of animal sort of like human hybrid people, you know, in this show. So, you know, we'll see. And yeah, they're talking about going to their sister school over in Kyoto to do this sort of like game style thing against them, against what, you know, seemingly they are rivals with each other. So, you know, so they're off to do that. The first years were actually chosen instead of the third years, who were apparently suspended for some reason. So we didn't get an insight into why they got suspended, but I don't know, we may do in the future. We also know that Gojo is really fucking pissed off because the higher-ups went behind his back to basically put Yuji in a situation where he would get killed, you know, while Gojo was away. So yeah. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. So you're all going to get in episode 6 and see what we get. So as always, the reaction will be here on YouTube, but if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I'll re-upload this as a discussion only, and a link to the reaction will be in the description below. As always, a link to the full-length reactions in the description below, so if you do want to watch my full-length reaction to this episode and all the other episodes, the link is down there for you. And there is also a link to the next episode's reaction, so if you don't want to wait a week, you can get early access with the link down there as well. So yep, nothing else really to talk about, so you're going to get in episode 6 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Kozo. He can fight him inside his own, like, conscious. Yeah. Bloody hell. He deflected his fist.
お前はつまらんな。ここはあの世ではない。俺の聖徳領域だ。お前が条件を飲めば心臓を治し生き返らせてやる。
Alright, here we go. Of course, there's conditions.
近いうち面白いものが見れるぞ。俺が啓発と唱えたら1分間体を明け渡すこと。2、この約束を忘れること。ならばその1分間誰も殺さんし傷つけんと約束しよう。これは縛り。
Parts there. I figured there would have bin something like that.
守らねば罰を受けるのは俺。利害による縛り。呪術における重要な因子の一つだ。
Okay, right then.
なんていうわけねえだろ。無条件で生き返らせろ。
今から殺し合って小僧が勝ったら無条件で。俺が勝ったら俺の縛りで生き返る。
いいぜ、ボコボコに。
Oh, Jesus.
そんな僕がなんで高専で教鞭をとっているか夢があるんだ。ユージのことでもわかる通り、上層部は呪術界の魔窟。そんなクソ呪術界をリセットする。上の連中を皆殺しにするのは簡単だ。でもそれじゃ首がすげ替わるだけで変革が起きない。強く里い仲間を育てることを。みんな優秀だよ。特に3年はかり、2年乙骨。彼らは僕に並ぶ術師になる。
Wow, really?
ユージもその一人だった。
そこで見てみて。
Here he is.
いちいちうるさい。おかえり。おっす、ただいま。
Can't get rid of him that easy.
悪いが記録上、ユージは死んだままにしてくれ。
Very good.
俺は今からバイトをバックれる。
He can
昔
sense
から
it.
責任感は強い方だった。あのテーブルに近づけば死ぬ。
殺すより封印することに心血を注ぐことをお勧めするよ。
Sealing him?
特級呪物、獄門鏡を使う。
Damn.
すみません店長、俺やめます。
お客様、ご注文はお決まりです。
Jesus!
これでいいだろう。
Bloody hell. Fucking hell, was this really necessary?
甘く見積もって8、9本分ってとこかな。
十分、獄門鏡を
8 or 9 fingers?
吸収に加える。
God, fucking hell, man. Fuck these guys.
すでに息子さんは亡くなっていました。正直自分はあそこの人たちを助けることに懐疑的でした。でも仲間たちは違います。
I didn't know he picked that up.
せめてこれを。
あの子が死んで悲しむのは私だけですから。
Those poor people, man.
もう学ランはしんどい。可愛いジャージを買いに行かせろ。
Fucking hell.
近接戦闘に関しては、ユージは頭一つ抜けてると思うよ。今覚えるべきは呪力のコントロール。こっちはただ呪力をぶつけただけ。こっちは呪力を術式に流して発動させた呪術でねじったの。
I see.
あ、ユージには呪術は使えないよ。基本的に術式は生まれながら体に刻ま
I
れてい
see.
るものだ。
Okay.
霊眼とか挽回とか螺旋眼とか。
Bankai Rasengan.
その
Yeah.
うち君の体には少なの術式が刻まれる。こもってなかったね。
No, it didn't.
なんで？磁力の源は負の感情。
次、お前も長いの試してみろ。
意外としっくりきますね。
逆に大きく感情が触れたとき、磁力を無駄遣いしないようにもね。
Okay.
訓練
It's
方法
like
はい
Hunter
く
x
つかあるけど
Hunter.
映画鑑賞。
映画鑑賞？
生きてる間はぶっ通しでだ。もちろんただ見るだけじゃないよ。
Well, I just tried to scare him.
その呪骸は一定の磁力を流し続けないと目を覚まして今みたいに襲ってくるよ。まずはその呪骸を起こさず映画を一本無傷で見通すこと。これがどんな感情下でも一定の磁力出力を保つ訓練。
獲物で近接を補うのは賛成ですけど、術式上両手はパッと開けられるようにしたいんです。
パンダに持たせてる。
聞かなきゃよかったパート2。
物を出し入れできる呪霊を飼ってる術師とかもいるよな。
宝の持ち腐れだな。
あれは俺には特級に勝てる可能性があったと。
ツナツナ。
あ
The hell?
なんだよ。
先輩、
What the hell was? How was he able to go through
なん
that?
とかなりそうです。
赤の導線、青の導線、どっちを切ったらいい？
そうよ、赤よ。普通赤。
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's always the fucking red wire.
じゃあ僕は用事あるのでその調子で頑張ってね。
こんなんで強くなれんの？
心臓を治すにあたって条件とか契約を持ちかけられなかった？
ああ、なんか話した気がするけど思い出せねえんだ
That
な。
was part of the condition, wasn't it?
そうか。 止めて。
ここでですか？
さて。
he sensed this guy coming.
君、何者？
Ah, bastard! Come on! Gotta end it there. Okay. Jujutsu Kaisen, episode 6. Right, we've got some information on this in this episode. Some interesting ones, especially. Like, they have gyasses in this in this world. Pacts that rules are set, and if they're broken, then they're punished. So they can't just get away with, you know. I mean, what Sukuna was saying, I was wondering, like, you know, well, it could just be telling, like, this could all be bullshit, you know. But seemingly, everything he's saying does actually work, because Yuji, you know, when he was brought back, he remembered talking about something involving a condition, but he can't remember what it was, and that was one of the like part of the condition that he would forget, right? Which it's not a good thing, because I mean, listen, Sukuna is obviously not, you know, he's not a nice man, and so there are going to be things, I guess, that he once done that because of this pact can't be undone. So whatever fucking bad thing he has got cooked up, I believe, unfortunately, Yuji won't see it coming, and that means that, you know, it's this could lead to some bad things. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he was talking about, because I'm sure he was talking about, because he obviously, during the whole pact and Gias conversation thing, he was obviously talking about the fact that why Yuji couldn't actually come back, that it wasn't a problem for him before, but that somehow is involved in pacts as well. Like, one of the factors of cursed energy, or, you know, or techniques or whatever, is based upon these kind of things. So the idea that, like, you know, he was talking about when the whole, like, fight with Gojo in episode 2, the reason why he came straight back out was because that's exactly what was asked of him, like, to do at that point. So it makes me wonder, like, does that mean, like, are we saying that Gojo and Yuji that was technically a Gias pact that they created? Like, you know, I could be wrong. I just felt like, because it was like they were talking about Giases and then it went straight over to that, and they give a reason why Yuji couldn't actually come out, you know. But then it just makes me wonder how he was able to get out of it previously, you know, when Sukuna was, like, out for the first time in episode 1. Like, how was, you know, Yuji able to combat it? It could just be a case of just based upon, like, power levels and whatnot. Like, if you do have just straight up control over just, like, a one finger Sukuna, then, you know, then you're able to just, like, control it no bother. But, like, once it starts getting to the point where, you know, Sukuna's got, like, multiple fingers, and so he's, like, the more stronger, Yuji is getting left behind, and therefore he's not able to simply just switch out based on power or control. You know, but yeah, that is definitely interesting, the whole pacts and whatnot, so I'm gonna have to remember that. Yeah, so Yuji was in Sukuna's mind. That's where he was. He was in Sukuna's mind, not like inside of himself. But the fact that he still remains, like, sort of in there, in his innate domain, is very interesting. The fact that Yuji was able to get in. I don't know, like, what like what he was able, like, what he did to actually get in there. Because, I mean, Sukuna was like, yeah, don't just, like, you know, come into here. Like, almost like it's somewhere that can only be, like, you can only get access to if you're invited or whatnot, you know. So yeah, you must just, like, Yuji just hanging on to everything, like, you know what I mean? He dies and then he's just like, I'm gonna kick the shit out of this guy. So yeah, we have no idea what the contract is, aside from the fact that one of the things was that he would forget. So yeah, that will crop up at some point when we're least expecting it, and I'm guessing it's going to be something bad, and yeah, madness. Yeah, so Yuji comes back, Gojo previously, actually, before Yuji gets back, he was talking about Gojo was talking about a dream. He wants revolution. He doesn't like the way things are set up. He doesn't like the higher ups. He feels like almost like things are going around in like circles. Things need to change, and whatnot. And so, you know, without the whole idea of just murdering the all of the higher ups, he decided that, you know, he needs people on his side for a proper revolution, and that's basically why he's teaching for, so he can get these kids growing up with the same ideology, I guess, under his lead. So yeah, Yuji comes back to life. Gojo wants him still dead on records so that Gojo can have time to actually train Yuji before, you know, they find out that he's alive again, and then try to come up with another ploy to kill him off. So yeah, and then we went back to the restaurant. Well, that wasn't the ending for that I wanted to see. But yeah, so the head geezer was still haven't got the guy's name. I mean, I'm sure we haven't. If it's cropped up and I've missed it, I apologise, but we still haven't got his name. But I'm going to guess that the curse dude, the one that, like, the main curse there was, I'm guessing the volcano curse. It was interesting they were talking, and he asked how, like, in terms of almost like a power level in terms of Sukuna's fingers, how powerful am I? And the guy came back with 8 or 9 fingers, which is quite hefty. That's a lot of fingers. That's like half of Sukuna almost. You know, and it does make me wonder, does that mean that if our Sukuna, you know, the actual dude that's within Yuji, if Sukuna came out and fought against the volcano dude, does that mean we're saying that the volcano dude could beat him? Because at this point, the Sukuna that we have is only 3 fingers, right? That must be what it means. But he's going after, I mean, obviously he was talking about Gojo and whatnot. They were talking about, the head dude basically said, you know, probably better off to seal him rather than kill him. Probably giving him a bit of advice, like, you know what I mean? In terms of a one-on-one fight, I doubt you're going to, so you're better off just sealing him. It's going to be easier. So they have a thing called a prison realm curse thing. Cursed object that can seal him away. You know, I don't know if the volcano curse guy has that with him at this moment, because obviously they're about to fight, right? Because this is the thing, like, obviously the volcano guy wants to just kill him and rather than seal him, right? But the thing is that, I mean, if we go by what Gojo claims, right? He claims that even if it was him versus Sukuna, he'd still win, right? So we're talking about Sukuna with all 20 fingers, right? So, I mean, at least he's 20 fingers strong, right? Gojo. So, surely he's going to have no trouble with this volcano curse dude. The only trouble I could see is this sealing thing, right? But, you know, Gojo just seems to be on everything. He seems to sense things, so I wouldn't be surprised if he sees that coming as well. But, I mean, we'll just have to wait until next time for that one. But yeah. So yeah, the curse guy fucking immolates everybody. Ugh, horrendous, man. Fucking horrendous. It's very dark, a very dark show. For a shonen, yeah. But mate, it's bloody different. It's well different. So yeah. The other thing they go on about is well, obviously Yuji's been trained, right? So he wants to be trained while he's kept dead on records, and the whole thing is Yuji doesn't have Jujutsu, like he doesn't have curse techniques, right? Is what he does, right? Because that's something that is from birth, like that kind of is just sort of seeped into you. It's written within you. But what he said is that Sukuna's techniques will actually infuse with Yuji over time. So, like, eventually he will be able to use techniques that Sukuna has, essentially. You know, like the way he said it almost makes me feel like, well, they're going to become one, essentially, right? You know. But I guess because obviously they're sharing the same body, like eventually, like of course, like Sukuna's just like, I mean to say DNA is wrong, but like, you know, it's just like getting almost like overwritten. I imagine, right? It's probably the correct term to use there. And then obviously it goes on about like cursed energy and whatnot, and actually controlling that, because I mean he talked about like negative energy, right? Because that's the thing that curse energy is like, it's born from around. It's the negative side of emotions, right? But it's about like controlling them in sort of like short bursts while you're using like whatever technique it is to, you know, to fire off cursed energy in whatever way, shape or form it may be, rather than it just going full pelt all of the time. I kind of likened it to Hunter x Hunter, because, you know, similarly there, like in that show, they did the same thing with Nen, right? Like the same kind of idea is like not letting it just shoot out of you repeatedly, but like almost like keeping it around you, like around yourself, like almost like a bubble. You know, and that makes me that's the kind of thing where, like in the last episode, I had obviously questions about how the fuck did Megami Fushiguro survive getting battered around through buildings and everything like that, and I did have a question, like he must have some sort of some form of like cursed like shield like energy around him, so I'm guessing that's the idea there. So you're able to take obviously more punishment, and just like Hunter x Hunter, that's exactly the same kind of idea, right? So yeah, interestingly enough, like Fushiguro just seems extremely talented. Like the stuff that he can do. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case, like I guess just in terms of like you have characters like, you know, like Zen'in Senpai who has, you know, her whole thing is like cursed tools and whatnot, and she's incredibly adept with them. And I wonder if it's like with Fushiguro, it's more like he's got cursed techniques like down to it, like a T, like whatever he's able to do, he's got that control, and he's able to do that extremely well. Whatever the hell he was doing at the end, where he was like phasing his hand through the floor, the thing I got from it, and I could be completely off base, and you're gonna have to let me know if I'm wrong. It was like Zen'in was like, you know, yeah, try this. Fushiguro kind of wants to. I think he likes the idea of using cursed tools, but at the same time, they can kind of get in the way, because obviously he uses his hands a lot for his techniques and whatnot, like summoning Shikigami and all of that, and he wants to be efficient in use of it, and by sheathing weapons and whatnot, that takes time away, and that could be the difference between life and death. I wonder, because they were talking about, you know, some people use you know, cursed spirits and whatnot, like to carry them around and whatnot. I wonder, is there something like a domain, because he phased through the floor, right? I wonder if there's some way he can like create a domain that houses cursed tools for him to basically pull out and put away at will. Am I right? And that's what the idea was there, because I don't know what else it was. I mean, you know, obviously we had the flashback to where like Sukuna was like impressed with what Fushiguro can actually get away with, you know, like the idea that Fushiguro should have been he should have easily been able to take out that special grade, because obviously we saw in the last episode that whole friggin' sacred treasure power thing that he was going to use, and that was where obviously Sukuna was like, yeah, that's where he changed his mind, and that he wasn't going to kill him, and that the idea he didn't actually want Yuji to die there either, because he wanted to be alive to see something like spectacular. So the potential of whatever Fushiguro's got is definitely interesting and intriguing, and I can't wait to see exactly what he's capable of. But I think the whole idea of him phasing through the floor was him like realizing something, he was able to do something, and I just wonder, like, I don't know, like Gilgamesh from fucking Fate, like, is he able to just like pull fucking weapons out of like this own domain that he has? I could be wrong, but I mean that'd be insane if he could. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've got to talk about. I think I've pretty much covered everything in that episode. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how long we're going to be before Yuji turns back up. I think they actually said at some point in the episode that there was a month or so for the event with the sister school, right? I'm pretty sure that's what Panda said. Like there was a month or something. So I'd imagine that it's going to be a month of training for Yuji, and then just before the event happens, Yuji's like going to show up and surprise everybody. I'm alive, by the way. So yeah, that should be fun. And next episode, I imagine, yeah, we're going to get a nice little fight between Gojo and that volcano curse. Like I said, I don't see the only way I see Gojo like not being a part, like, you know, him not coming out on top is whatever this prison realm seal thing is, because, you know, like I said, if we go by what Gojo said, he would win against a full strength Sukuna, so he's at least 20 fingers against an 8 or 9 fingers. He should have no problem with it, but you know, that is something we'll have to wait until next episode. So yeah, if you do not want to wait until my next reaction, if you don't want to wait a week to see that, then the link is down in the description for you, of course, like I said before. And of course, links to other things over on my Patreon, like obviously the full length tiers is there as well for all the full length reactions to the shows I do, and then there's the full length or the exclusive tier, sorry, which gives you access to full length movie reactions and all of that. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.